Good morning, everybody. This is a wonderful morning, March 14th, in the year of manifestation. We'd like to welcome everybody to the Zoom room, to our lovely community Positive Living Center coming to you from Oakhurst, California. We want to welcome everybody today. My heart is just full today. I love coming here and joining heart to heart with the Positive Living Center. I had a meditation the other day, and I was told that one of the greatest words to say to everybody is just welcome. And in saying welcome, we just open the divine door to everybody. And I want to welcome everybody, and I want to welcome especially those that are new. And if you're new here, I hope you come back and join us again, because this is a place of heart. It's a place of the God force coming through us all and joining us in community. Our themes for today are our themes for this month. Divine intelligence expresses through us. Our thoughts are alive and active, and every idea produces an effect. And now it's time to just settle down into our heart space. Settle down and relax. Have your cup of coffee, have your cup of tea. Settle back in your chair and take a deep breath. While Cheyenne leads us into the God space, into the illumination of the divine with her music. Might want to unmute.
Muted now.
Now we're unmuted. Oh. Saviturvarenia Bargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo Yona Prachodaya Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo Yona Prachodaya Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo Yona Prachodaya
Now allow the illumination of the divine, of the God source and the God force within us all, to flow through us now, down into our heart space, to the top of our heads, through our complete body, and flow outwards and expand through us and as us. On the words of the song of the Gayatri Mantra, the illumination of the divine is us, with us, for us, and as us, as we allow, as we say yes. That's all we have to do, is just say yes. And in that moment of yes, it happens, and it is. The light flows in. Love and grace flows through us to radiate through our body and as us, with us, for us. And I know this for us now. And I know this, and it is happening now in divine order. And I put this into the law, knowing that all is well for all of us and all that we are connected to. It is now and for eternity in divine order. And so it is. And so I let it be so. Now I ask the Reverend Kim Haley for a spiritual thought for today.
Good morning, everybody. I am laughing because every idea produces an effect. Our thoughts are alive and active, and divine intelligence expresses through me. You know what? I had planned on speaking about nothing. And because I was going to speak about nothing, which would be something, not what you think nothing is, my computer completely erased my talk this morning. And I went, that is hysterical. It was very funny to me because I thought it was very profound. But luckily, I remembered most of it. So I'm going to proceed as best I can. I just think it's hysterical. Where I got that is I have nothing to say and I'm saying it, came from a quote by John Cage. And I really didn't, my process and how I do things is to wait sometimes. And I wonder, well, how will I put all these juicy topics together? And while in a conversation with a good friend of mine on the phone, she said, what are you going to talk about? And I go, nothing. Because nothing was happening right then. And then I said, oh, that reminds me of a story. And the story was when I was in high school in grade 10 in drama class. And there were a lot of people in that class that were there to get an easy credit. They weren't doing very much. Nothing was really happening. They weren't doing their homework. They weren't doing very much. And so we got an ultimatum from our teacher, our instructor in that class. He said, you know, there's a big event coming up, a school event, and I want you to perform something at this event. You have to do something or you're not going to pass this class. And he left us alone, and we were sitting there, and we were all just sitting there. Nothing was happening much. And a thought crossed my mind, and I was laughing when I said it. It was spontaneous. And I said, why don't we do nothing, a skit on nothing? That's what we're good at. and that's what happened. We all started to laugh and relax. And I believe divine intelligence was invited in to that moment because we were open. We were open and laughing and relaxed, and we were playful. And I think the universe and God is playful. And it came in and we did a sketch on nothing, and it was a big hit. People liked it, and I thought it was funny. So I wrote that out, and I remember that was grade 10. We're talking decades ago here. And then a little word about my process. It was that Friday when I hadn't had the conversation yet with my friend. I had gone for a walk, and I just kept my mind open because I had really nothing set up to go on. And I walked around the neighborhood and I said, who put these trees here? Who put these free range chickens out here in my neighbor's yard that I haven't met yet? Who put this little barky dog with the overbite that's coming to bark at me, that wants a pat on the head and some loving words? Who put that there? And these flowers. And then I heard the most, and then this raven flew overhead and cast a shadow, gliding through the air. Who put that there? And I also then looked up at the mountains, and the top of the mountains were like their crown chakra in snow. And it was a beautiful, I took a deep breath and all, felt like I breathed in the mountains. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful day. And I was saying, who put this here? And I then heard this loud squawking sound, and I walked a little further and I peeked behind this tree in the distance, and there was a male turkey. It looked like a young male turkey. And in all his glory, he was squawking and shouting at the heavens. His head was up and he was squawking loud, and every poof of his tail that came out sounded like a drum beat. It was splendid. It was awesome. And I thought, oh my gosh, from this walk on nothing happening, everything's happening. Everything's happening around me. So that is what I want to talk about. Every idea, even about nothing, has an effect. And our thoughts are alive and they're active. And divine intelligence is always there to support you. Just take a step in that direction. Just go for a walk. And I think that I'd like to close with a quote by John Cage. The attitude I take is that everyday life is more interesting than forms of celebration. When we become aware of it, that is when our intentions go down to zero. And suddenly you notice that the world is magical. And so it is. Thank you.
Your nothing was really something. Thank you. Oh, that was great. That was great. It's nice. Something about, that when you have a void, when there is space, the universe rushes in to fill it. So it was perfect. It was really nice. Thank you. Cheyenne, would you grace us with some more music, please? And you'll need to unmute, sweetie. Thank you.
Can you hear us?
We're unmuted now,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Great.
Ready, guys?
Ready. Okay, so we thought this song was appropriate for the theme because we're talking about how all of our thoughts affect our reality. And so even if you're having a hard time, we have to see past appearances. We have to be able to see the good in every situation, or, at least try to remember our essential nature. And so that's what we're doing. That's what this song is about.
So when it's going really bad and it feels like everything's against you, take a breath, take another breath, and take another breath, and wait for it. Wait for it.
It's
all right. Well, it's all right.
Riding around in the breeze.
Well, it's all right.
If you live the life that you breathe,
It's all right.
you do it the best that you can.
It's all right.
As long as you lend a hand.
You can sit around and wait for the phone to ring,
At the end of the line,
waiting for someone to tell you everything.
at the end of the line,
Sit around and wonder what tomorrow may bring. Maybe diamond ring. Well, it's all right. say you're wrong, well, it's all right. Sometimes you gotta be strong when it's all right. Even if it's somewhere to lay, well, it's all right. Every day is judgment day. Maybe somewhere down the road away, at the end of the line, you'll think of me and wonder where I am these days. At the end of the line, maybe somewhere down the road when somebody plays Purple Haze. Well, it's all right. Even when push comes to shove, well, it's all right. As long as you have shown love, it's all right. Is it gonna work out fine? Well, it's all right. We're going to the end of the line. I don't have to be ashamed of that old truck I drive. At the end of the line, I'm happy to be here, happy to be alive. At the end of the line, it don't matter as long as you're all by my side. At the end of the line, I'm satisfied. Well, it's all right. Even if you're old and gray, hey, it's all right. You still got something to say. Well, it's all right. Remember to live and let live. Well, it's all right. The best you can do is forgive. It's all right. Riding around in the breeze. Well, it's all right. If you live the life that you please, it's all right. Even if the sun don't shine, well, it's all right. We're coming to the end of the line. It's all right. Woo! Happy morning.
Oh, you guys are more than all right. You guys are great. It got me moving and grooving. Thank you for bringing that joy. You know, joy is a nice consciousness builder. Thank you. And the harmony, I love the harmony. It was nice. But it's all right, that 3-part harmony, and he was a nice addition to it. Let me tell you that. Yeah, it had this warm, nice middle note. Nicely done. Thank you. Okay, now for our wonderful speaker. LuJuana LJ Bull is our speaker for today. LuJuana, take it away.
Thank you, Missy. Hi, everyone. So good to see you. These themes, boy, do they feel natural to me. I am feeling it in a big way. And so I want to start off by saying happy almost St. Patty's Day for all the Irish people in the house. I got that's that much Irish in me. And then how was the snow for you guys? Did you get snow? I know for Joe and I, we did. We got quite a bit of snow. Wednesday we were shoveling, and Thursday we were shoveling. We had full body workouts 2 days in a row, and it worked out quite nicely. And then we were sitting around in our favorite chairs on Friday morning, and we were just chatting. And as we were chatting, and we were talking about spiritual thoughts, and as we were chatting, a verse from the Bible came into mind, and it's the ask and it shall be given, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. And I know that's in several places, but the one we found was, that I found was in Matthew 7:7. And that'll be important later on. It's not, yeah. But I just felt that the whole theme of our active thoughts and divine intelligence was really alive in that. And as Joe and I were discussing, asked the question, we asked the question, I asked the question, what does that mean to you? And Joe went ahead and he shared what the three sayings, ask, seek, and knock, what they meant to him. And then I listened and then I shared what it meant to me. And once we had done that sharing, and there was something about the atmosphere that was there, we were just both listening so intently to each other. Once that sharing happened, I think we both recognized that we absolutely, our thoughts, our feelings, our intentions, we are interactive, we are co-creative, and this one verse was kind of commenting to that. And then spontaneously, Joe had a memory. He had a memory of a story you may have heard before. In fact, my story you may have heard before. But with March's themes, we're going to share them together. And Joe's going to go ahead and share first about that experience that he had.
Thank you. Years ago, I was working at the sheriff's office, and I was assigned to the undercover narcotics division unit. And one particular day, we were meeting at 5 o'clock in the morning to go over what we were going to do that day, which was serve a lot of search warrants starting at 6 a.m. And it was a really hot summer day. It was even warm that morning, even at 6. So we got through with our briefings. Everybody went out to their assignments with their teams, and we were serving search warrants. And of course, those things cause more things to happen after search warrants. It leads you on to more investigations. So we went on and on and on throughout the day. And we got to, I was about maybe hour 11 or 12 still at work, hot, sticky, and really wanted to be done for the day. And I started to finish up what I was doing. I was heading back to the office, which was out at the Fresno airport at the time. I was about a mile out from the office when my sergeant called me on my phone and says, "Hey, I need you to go out to Clinton and 99 freeway and assist CHP with a vehicle stop. They've got some people detained and drugs and all kinds of stuff." And I said, "Okay." He says, "I'll try to find you another detective to join you out there to help you." I just said, "Okay." I hung the phone up and I got totally pissed off. I'm like, why is he asking me to go out? He's got 28 detectives he can call on. And why is he now bothering me? I'm so bone tired now, I can't see straight. I whipped the car around and I'm heading out Clinton Avenue, and I'm doing warp 3, I think, to get out there as fast as I could, because I knew I had at least 3 more hours of work to do once I got there. I'm exaggerating. I was going warp 1, not warp 3. But anyway, I'm flying along and I'm ticked off and I'm pounding on my steering wheel. I'm feeling sorry for myself, this why me thing. And something told me to look to my left before I got to First Street. And there was this black gal, maybe about 35 to 40 years old, dressed in a really pretty spring dress. And she was making her way, walking toward a bus stop there. She had an umbrella in her left hand up like this to keep the heat from her, from heat hitting on her head. And in the crook of her arm, she had a purse and a bouquet of flowers. And I thought, why is she carrying all that in one arm? And I looked to the right and her right arm was completely down and not moving. And she was dragging her right foot behind her. And I said, my God, this woman's had a stroke. But yes, she had a smile on her face. She was making her way to the bus stop to go entertain someone or make somebody else's day more pleasant. And as I saw that, now I saw this in a micro minute. It felt like I was looking at her for 5 minutes. And I fly across First Avenue and I just said, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for me seeing that. It completely lifted me. I dropped all of my, my woes about myself. I realized that, man, life is good. I'm healthy. I can do this job. I get paid well for what I do. And everything is well again, just by simply looking at this woman who changed my attitude so quickly. I got out there. I met with CHP officers. I helped them with their investigation. And I got home about 3.5 hours later, and I was bone tired, but I was a good tired because that woman changed my attitude. What made me look at that person at that very moment? It had to have been God, because I was in a tizzy of myself, feeling sorry for myself, and it changed everything for me that very moment. And so it is.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that. And the story that I get to share is the one where Joe and I were having dinner, and it was at a teppanyaki bar. And when we got seated, there were 3 lovely people already seated. It was a 28-year-old woman, young woman, and she was celebrating her birthday, and her parents were there with her to celebrate. And the father and Joe immediately connected, and it just so happened, of course, that they were seated right next to each other, and then the conversation and the joy ensued. It was just going on. And the girl, the young woman, she was very frustrated and very disappointed, even though she was happy to be with her parents and to be celebrating her birthday. She was disappointed and she was frustrated because she had not met Mr. Right yet, and she had intended by 28 to be married. And it had not happened yet. And so she was very candid, very open. And I, being New Thought, and us being a little bit of the happy juice, we had no trouble being in conversation about where she was and what mattered to her and what was important. And so she was talking about those guys that she had met with such bitterness. She had even called them losers. She had all kinds of disappointing stories about not meeting a great guy yet and being married yet. And being familiar with New Thought and laws of attraction and things like that, I was letting her know, it's kind of good you didn't meet him, because maybe you're not ready yet, but you'll be ready soon, because look at how clear you are that this is in your heart to be married, to start a family. You're so clear about that. And I said, and you don't want to meet someone when you're feeling bitterness, because you're going to meet bitterness. And you don't want to meet someone when you're angry and upset, because you're going to meet angry and upset. And so as the night went on, we visited and we enjoyed each other's company greatly. And it was so joyous just being there with each other, regardless of what was going on, meaning it didn't have to be positive. It didn't have to be perfect. She didn't have to be married. We were just having a great time. And near the end, something came through me that I didn't expect, but it did. And that was, honey, you keep looking for him, because he's looking for you. There are guys out there that are just as disappointed with who they've met so far, and they want to meet a great gal. You keep looking for him. And in that moment, I tell you with all my heart, so true, I felt a divine spark. I felt such an energy, and it wasn't what I said. It was her face when she turned around, because there could not have been a bigger yes in her heart. We wrapped up that day. We didn't exchange phone numbers. We felt complete. She didn't know where I worked. She didn't know our last names. We didn't know her last name. 2 weeks later, she walks through the door of my office and she points at me and yells, "You!" I laugh, and then she starts telling me 3 days after our meal She hadn't washed her hair. Furniture was being delivered, and the guy delivering the furniture, she could not stop talking to. He could not stop talking to her. They've been talking on the phone every day since. Now, keep in mind, this is 2 weeks after we had the meal together. She's walked into my office because it had the word insurance on the door, and she happens to work in that field. She was just cold calling, and she walked into my office. She also told me what she did. I told her what I did. And as God would have it in the mystery of serving everybody, she actually had 401k rollover paperwork in her car and was looking to take care of that. And that happened to be what I did. So she became a client. She and he married. They have 2 beautiful children. And you would think that's enough in this story of divine intelligence in action. But no, guess what? She's also studied metaphysics and moved to Oakhurst. So I'm telling you, this story just keeps on coming. And that happened, by the way, right before COVID hit. So my reason for sharing these is because I just feel whether we are directly having our ideas put and knowing and trusting that they are in action, as was the case with me, or indirectly, because Joe was obviously receptive to feeling different, or different feelings wouldn't have happened. That divine intelligence that is beyond our imagining is always active in our lives, and I'm so grateful for it. So moments like these, it's important to note, moments like these aren't just for some people or some creatures. That watching birds and animals being themselves is wonderful, like Reverend Kim said. It's astounding. And what God's creatures know about themselves, even when we don't think we know about ourselves, it just blows my mind. This feels like a perfect time because it is, sometimes we say about meditation, we say about prayer, we say about nothing. Nothing is perfect. This might be a perfect time to share just a little practice of opening up in stillness. And so I did this before when I got to speak, and it's the counts of 9, the 9 breaths. And I'd like to do the fuller version, which is 4 counts of 9 breaths. I want to invite you to participate with me. You can do this seated, as Joe will do. You can do it standing, as I will do. If you're seated a lot, the standing is lovely. So I encourage you to just stand up next to a wall if you want to do that. As long as you can hear me, that's all that will matter. And let's go ahead and do that together. The first thing is, if you're going to stand up, you're against the wall, you're about 1.5 inches to 2 inches away from the wall. And then the next thing you're going to do if you're standing is you're going to just put your weight in your heels. So bend your legs and put your weight. By bending your legs, you're putting your weight on your heels. And feel your body being supported on your thighs. The wall, you're not really pressing against. You're just letting it be a guide. And here we go. We'll focus with these breaths on the exhale. Even though obviously we'll be doing both inhale and exhale, our attention would just be watching the exhale. You can smile a little bit. Rise those cheekbones up just a little bit. And here we go. Exhale 1. Exhales through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale 2. Exhale 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Breathe normally for 3. If you're standing, you can shake your legs a little bit, and then we'll go right back in. Back in, knees bent, weight in the heels. Exhale 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Normal breathing for about 3. Again, you can shake out the legs if you want. Come back in. Exhale 1. Exhale 2. Exhale 3. Exhale 4. Exhale 5. Exhale 6. Exhale 7. Exhale 8. And 9. Again, few breaths, normal. And this is our last one. Think of it as Calgon taking us away if you want. Or let those thoughts go and go pass through just naturally. Exhale 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. And 9. Isn't it interesting? Whole nother vibration and frequency that we're experiencing. And it's so alive. Also reminds us too that if there are any stressors in our life, that our breath is right with us all the time. One of the things that, no, I really do know, and it's right here. One of the things that happens for us humans, spiritual beings having those human experiences, and the human experiences is we can be distracted. We can be distracted by what others have already created that's in our world. There's a lot of people vying for attention, vying for our attention. That's why advertising is everywhere. Is because that's how precious our attention is. And let us not forget our co-creative, communal with God. And that humans are as astounding and wonderful as Mother Earth. Humans are as magnificent as the animals and nature, where we find nature so refueling. We are of nature. We too. Sometimes humans get a bad rap. Deepak Chopra, the spontaneous fulfillment of desire, he is all over these themes of March. He's all over the seek, ask, and find in that book. And if you're thinking that you haven't experienced something like Joe or myself or other people talk about, I pray that you know that's a yet, if that's something you want to experience. If you want to experience nothing, that's perfect. There is no restriction. There is no requirement. There is no demand. It is us coming from that nature that's already us. That's already going on. It is mystical. It is spontaneous manifesting. It is abundant. And don't be discouraged at all if that hasn't occurred for you yet. There are definitely guides like Deepak with that book, but there's also the guide of your inner knowing. Joe and I could feel during our conversation the lift of vibration that happened for us, and it was linked in those two stories. There was a frequency or a vibration that felt similar in those two stories. And isn't it interesting how that shows up? I personally know that when I've got a cold and my energy has dropped and things are heavier in my life, there's a number of memories that are in that same bandwidth of that frequency. And it's wonderful to recognize that we have all of these different frequencies that we are able to be in and to live in, and it's all alive. It's all alive. Following the Matthew 7:7, there was 7:8. And the verse in 7:8 said, held within, it said this, and it's so powerful, and it's such a promise. It says, for everyone that asks receives. For everyone. Once again, saying that our thoughts, our ideas, they're active and alive. May we all be centered up and centered in as often as possible to God's presence. It's always there no matter what. It's there no matter what. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. And may we may we experience that presence in faith, in trust, in knowing. May we experience it in Angie's love only, in Sandy's only God. May we experience it in all of our ways, how we each see our God presence. And I leave you with my favorite oneness quote. Matter is the lowest level of spirit, and spirit is the highest degree of matter. We all matter, and so it is. You can't see me doing it, you guys, but I'm looking at your faces and enjoying and appreciating you as I'm going like that. So much love to you.
I really loved your examples of divine intelligence expressing and how the ideas are so alive and how then they manifested and how fast. I mean, when we connect to that divine intelligence and know you know, and we're in that flow. It's like bam, bam, bam. It just happens. And so it's, thank you. Thank you. Well, will you all join me in our offertory prayer, please? Divine love flowing through me blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. And how we give and how we receive, especially how we give, because how we give is how we receive. And you can give, I've put it in the chat box, the ways that you can give. And know that as you give, it blesses the PLC because we're able to pay our mortgage, and which is very important to us. So when we finally get back together, we'll have a building, and it allows us to have all the programs and everything that we have. And I want you to know that we bless you all for the community that you bring to us and for blessing us with your tithes and donations. And know that that energy on your heart comes out and blesses us, and it's thrice blessed back to you. And we thank you, thank you, thank you. And announcements and heart to heart. Sandy, you want to talk about heart to heart? I did put the heart to heart PLC outreach in the chat box.
Heart to Heart is a group of people who are offering to help. You need prayer work, you need something picked up for you, something done. Joe is willing to drive and to help you with those kind of things. They're all willing to help in any way they can. You need to talk to somebody, you need to just share, they're there for you. So there's lots of people, there's always someone that you can get a hold of. Please call.
Our practitioner of the day is Reverend Kim Haley. And also in the chat box, I've just put the names of all the practitioners and the ministers for PLC, so that if there's someone that you especially feel close to or you feel simpatico with, it's there in the chat box for you. And now we open it to any announcements that anybody has. Feel free to unmute yourself and make an announcement.
Looks like Cheyenne's going to unmute.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I wanted to announce that I'm feeling so much better. I'm going through a breakup with my husband, and it's been really rough. And I feel amazingly uplifted and energized and renewed by this service. So thank you for, being here. Thank you for the positive energy. Thank you.
Oh, you are so loved and appreciated, honey. Let us know if you need help.
I will. Thank you.
And again, thank you for your music today, Cheyenne. The illumination of the one that you brought through your music today, know that it's being returned back to you.
I just want to give an update report on my son.
Go for it.
He just reported that, well, I posted it, I think, on Facebook, but he just updated me on this last treatment because he's been getting very sick from the treatments before. They eliminated one of the chemicals that he was in his treatment, and he had no side effects or anything. He's doing well, and all he said is he had got pimples. And that's all you get from, a mix of chemo stuff. He's a happy camper right now. So anyway, I just want to say thank you. And he knows, and he's just, saying thank you to everybody for the blessing. So really, he feels it, knows it, and appreciates it a lot.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And we continue to hold space, divine right order in his everything for him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Daniel?
Has everybody else noticed that the volume is really low? I've got turned up all the way and I can barely hear people ever since the music with Cheyenne and Barney.
Yeah, I had to up mine too.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah, well, it was hard to hear much of anything.
We'll look at that and see if there's anything we can do to make it better. Thanks, Daniel.
It sounds louder now when you're talking, but it's like I say, I've got it cranked up all the way and it's still barely legible. Okay.
Thank you.
It was a miracle, Daniel. It was a miracle.
I think Judy wants to talk, honey.
Judy?
Let's see, am I unmuted? Yes. I just wanted to give a little update on the clearing of the fallen trees. John Nelson has been working on cutting wood and doing more burn piles, and John Lalonde was over cleaning and doing more of that Mother Nature tidying. So, you know, gratitude for our wonderful volunteers. John Nelson told me that this afternoon, a gentleman is coming to look at taking the larger tree trunks. So we'll see how all that goes, but slowly and surely spring's coming and things are getting cleaned up. So thank you to all our volunteers and people that do the hard part, you know, so gratitude. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Lalonde, for going and working over there. We appreciate it and the building appreciates it.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and, thanks. Yeah, I was just helping with the things that fell by the propane tank.
Got lots of that stuff falling around over there, huh?
There is. John is doing a tremendous job.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
It's lovely.
Quite gracious.
And by the way, our next week's speaker is Judy DeRosa, Reverend Judy DeRosa. So don't forget to be here next week because she always has something wonderful to say and share with us.
Thank you.
Are there any other announcements? I think, is there anything having to do with our spiritual stuff from Bob Hand, or is that not ready to go yet? Does that happen in April, right?
Yes, it's the first Wednesday of each month. So the next one will be first Wednesday in April at 5:30.
Okay, great. I like to keep people reminded of that, Bob. That's great. Any other announcements? All right, well, let's go ahead and do our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. The energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. I'd like to ask the Reverend Sandy to give us our closing treatment.
Oh, everybody was brilliant today. It was really a wonderful day and so good seeing Spirit. He's grown up so much. I remember when he was just a baby crawling around on the PLC floor over at the old building. Just close your eyes and relax and join me in just feeling the joy that we've been gifted with today. The wisdom and the words, the smiles, the music, all of it making a difference in our lives. It's a wonderful world we live in. And day by day, we appreciate it more and more and more. Even today, this new understanding of nothing, that even within nothing, there is everything. Oh, so many things to think about and to expand upon. Our spiritual community is a gift to all of us. And I am so grateful for it and for all of you. And say with me, please, and so it is.
It is.
Oh, thank you, everybody. And go forth this week with blessings and love and just have a great week.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you, LJ, for the breath work. That really helped my nervous system.
Yes,
relaxed. It's great.
Thank you for the community.
My pleasure.
It was wonderful seeing everybody. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sandy.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye,
Diane,
everyone.
love you.
Bye, everyone.